So guys, one of the videos that's going to be premiering the week of Christmas, basically on the 21st of December, that is, basically in 20 days, by the time you watch this, well, it would have been 20 days because I'm recording this on the last day of November, and this video will premiere on the 22nd of December. Yeah, it's going to be a little ways away, but hopefully it'll be worth it for you guys and all that when you get the opportunity to see it. But what I may do is separate a lot of the whole video into 3 parts like I've done in the past, or several parts anyway. But the reason I say this is because one of the videos that's coming out on the 21st is the entire 4-part Tales Love Life series that I did back in 2008. Now, in case you guys are wondering what that is, what the Tales Love Life series is, well, I did another series prior to that called the Sonic Love Life series. And mainly what these were multi-part videos that I did back when I got this channel going, where I talked about the love interests that the characters were involved in as far as the Archie Sonic book is concerned. For example, Sonic, I ran the gambit with him. I went with Amy, Sally, and Fiona. Those are the 3 main love interests. With Tails went up a little bit more. He had one more. He had, Fiona, he had Barbara Koala, he had Little Moon, and he had Mina Mongoose. So now the question obviously is, who's left? Well, for a while, everybody's been saying and asking me, do Sally Acorn, do her. Do a Love Life series on Sally. Well, you know what, guys? Your wish is granted, because here today, on the 30th, the last day of November, I'm going to do basically exactly that. I am going to give you guys what you've been wanting. I'm going to look at Sally's love life, and yes, believe it or not, this will be in several parts. But what's interesting is who is involved. And obviously, I think you all know who's going to be involved. But except there will be a surprise at the end, because the last one I'll talk about is something of a romance. And I've talked about it before, that came out of the blue, not just entirely in the pre-reboot times of the book, but mostly afterwards. And believe me, I was surprised about it as much as you were. But that's what's going to happen here. That's what we're going to do here. So without further ado, guys, let me introduce you and welcome you to the Sally Love Life series that you will see in complete video form on the 22nd of December. But as we build towards it, you will see all 4 parts today. The complete video form, all 4 parts as one video, will be presented to you on, like I said, December 22nd. But the individual parts will be given to you this week, today, hopefully, if not tomorrow. So without further ado, guys, let's go in to Sally's love life and talk about each of them one by one. Alright, so the first character, obviously, we got to talk about is Sonic. Sonic and Sally's relationship has been one since the beginning of not just the comic book, but of the animated series known as Sonic Sat-AM itself. And this has been one of those relationships, not just in cartoons, but as well as in comics, but franchises overall, that seems very, very well received. Yes, it does have its detractors. We're not going to deny that. We do know that there are fans out there that do not like this pairing. But when you get down to it, it's a pairing that everybody, whether or not they like putting romance into comics or shows based on these kind of franchises or not, that even people like, let's say, Ian Flynn are supportive of. And, when you look at Sally's relationship with Sonic, it's one of those relationships that it just works. It just works, basically, because both of them are perfect foils to each other. Both of them know from a mischievous, sometimes fun-loving way and tolerable way how to push each other's buttons, but not to an annoyance kind of manner, or a manner that basically makes one disdain the other, but more of a fun-loving kind of way. I mean, one of the things, obviously, that gets carried over into other Sonic series at that time is Sonic's impatience-ness. I mean, because here's the thing, Sally, you got to give her a lot of credit for being patient with him. Especially when it comes to his impatience-ness. I mean, if you go back and you watch Sonic and the Secret Scrolls, and they're sitting on that magic chair or couch that's going to lift off, take him over the wall to get to the entrance where the scrolls are, you see him just sitting there and everything, and all of a sudden he just folds his arm and starts tapping his foot like, come on, let's go. Because his characteristic is he's fast. And by being fast, he's very impatient about things. I mean, there's even a scene in one of the episodes, I don't know if it was the first or second season, I go, look, where Sally says, give him a minute, or ask Sonic to wait a minute so they can check something out here, thanks to Nicole. And Sonic's like, 30 seconds is my limit. Because he's fast. He wants things done here and now. He wants to get things done here and now. And Sally is very tolerable about that. But it also works in the other way, because Sonic is very tolerable of her. Like, he knows she's the way she is because that's how she was trained, that's how she was raised and stuff. So he's accepting of it. He's tolerable about it. So they work out fine with each other. They know how to, like I say, they know each other's quirks. They know how to, fun-lovingly push each other's buttons to kind of, get the other one to understand, hey, I get where you're coming from, but this is how I am. You got to just, wait for it. You got to accept it. And it works out. It works out in the end, because even at the end of the series, the animated series, you pretty much know that they're gonna, you pretty much know that they are now an item, because Sally is basically telling Sonic, hey, if you're gonna do this, I'm going with you, because you basically mean more to me than just as a friend kind of deal, which Sonic does understand. And like I said, I gotta put it in here. When they use those deep power stones, you can't tell me when Sally wanted to go for a kiss that part of that power stone didn't just give her Sonic speed temporarily, but it gave her a bit of his mischievous side, his personality, in a sense, to want to do something that was like, whoa, wait a minute, kind of deal. That maybe we shouldn't do that. So, you gotta admit that was kind of fun to look at and kind of see. But the point that I'm getting at, long story short, the point I'm getting at is this relationship, even in the animated series, was perfect. It worked out, greatly. But then you look at, let's say, the comic book. And the comic book, I admit, took it to another level with these two. The comic book basically put them in ups and down situations to where, sometimes the relationship was on, sometimes it was off, sometimes, it was on and off, sometimes it was mutually agreed to put it to the side for the time being. It was one of those kind of relationships that you knew one way or another they were going to end up together. And when they did, fans were happy. They rejoiced on it. A majority did. I mean, I even go on record and say when I saw the cover for, 123, I was happy. I was like, yes, finally, these two are together, finally. I was able to be happy about that. When I saw 222, I was like, yes, finally. Because, Ian Flynn, to his credit, was building up to that. He was building up to that moment. So, either way, when you look at it, it's one of those relationships that just works. It just works, and there's nothing more you can say about that. It just works. It's a perfect blending of two personalities coming together, working out each other's differences to make the relationship work, as well as being very tolerable and accepting of some of the quirks and personality like moments that the characters have. So the relationship she has with Sonic is great. And like I said, she is the perfect foil to Sonic, no matter how you look at it. No matter how you look at it, she's the perfect foil to Sonic the Hedgehog, and I like it. I like it. I mean, you always have to, when you look at couples and franchises, you always got to have the female, the good. You gotta always have the female behind somebody as a love interest that's gonna tolerate who they are. Lois is the same. Lois is with that with Superman, with Clark, Selena Kyle to an extent with Batman Bruce, Mary Jane to an extent with Peter. You kind of get the idea, and when you look at those kind of relationships and you wonder why they work, it's because both characters complement each other very, very well, and the same is said for Sonic and Sally. And that is why when you look at Sally's relationship with Sonic, whether you like it or you don't, it's one of those that works perfectly in context. And that's why we start off here with Sonic the Hedgehog in Sally's Love Life video series. And now we're going to go on to number 2.